Hey, this is JC and welcome to Small Brick City, where we want to help you build a Lego city regardless of the space you have. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Please hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. We share a lot of Lego city building guides and tutorials such as this video you're about to watch. This is part 3 of a series I call Building a MOC from Start to Finish, and the project I'm currently working on is this Angel of Mercy Medical Center. In this series, I show how I build a Lego MOC that's my own creation from start to finish, and I share my design philosophy, different build techniques, and my thought process of how to build such a Lego building. This is part 3 of the build because in the first 2 parts, I showed how to build up the structure and then I showed how to detail the interior. I've also done an adjunct video where I showed how to install a set of stairs into a Lego MOC and how to turn a 1-story building into a 2-story building. In that video, I showed how to install the staircase, figure out the space requirements you need, and also how to build the floor of the second floor so that the stairwell matches up with the staircase. Well, in this video, I'm going to build up the second floor, I'm going to build up the walls, the interior structure, and if I have time, I'll also detail the interior. If not, we'll do a part 4. And I should mention, after I build up this new 2-story medical center, I will be giving it a major renovation. And that's due to feedback from subscribers. A lot of people felt that a medical center should have an elevator instead of a staircase. Although I did do the staircase for educational purposes, just to show how to install a staircase and figure out the stairwell as well as the floor. But do not worry, after I build up the medical center with the staircase and the additional rooms for the second floor, I will be giving it a major renovation. I'll be taking out the staircase and installing an elevator, and then I will also rearrange the configuration of the second floor to accommodate this change. So it is going to be a process and probably a journey of the transformation and evolution of this MOC over the next 2 weeks. But let's not get ahead of ourselves and let's just focus on the second floor for this video. What I'm going to do first is to lay down a series of 1x something long plates, and that's just the way I do it as well for the ground floor. So I'm taking 1x something light grey long plates, and I'm going to mark out the footprint of the exterior wall as well as the interior wall. So I'm going to divide up the rooms as I go along. Next, I'm going to build up the bottom layer of the brickwork. I'm not going to use modified bricks with this 1x4 tile as I did for this base, but I will put light grey bricks over here for the front, and around the 3 sides, or the 3 out of 2 sides and the back, I'll use the medium orange masonry bricks as well. And then I'll build them up in white. I will try to follow the front facade using this as a guide, so I will retain the look of this dark grey masonry bricks and the white, as well as add in some big windows. So it will still have some continuity from this first floor, which I'll be using as a guide for the front facade. So let's do the plates first and then we'll add in the brickwork. So this is what I've done so far. I've added in the layer of plate, and I've created 2 smaller rooms here. One room is going to be an X-ray room and one's going to be a lab. Now the way the staircase is built, minifigs would walk up this way, so I'll have some kind of a railing or barrier over here, and there's just enough of a landing for them to turn, either to go into the rooms or to come around this side over here. On this side, I'm going to have a patient recovery room, and there'll also be a toilet, but I'm not too sure about the exact spacing right now. So before I decide on the size of the room and the toilet, what I'm going to do is to build up some of the brickwork first, and this will give me an idea of where the bricks and windows are, and that will help me decide where to put the sizing of the room or the dividing retainer walls for the rooms. So let's add in the brickwork and some of the walls now. So here we have the foundation of the brickwork, but it's still not enough for me to know how to divide the rooms up. So I'm going to add in the masonry bricks and the windows. For the windows, I don't think I'm going to use small windows. I want to use big windows. So I've got a couple of windows over here. I'm going to try to space them out and see how it looks. And then I'm going to put white columns as well as the masonry bricks in between. And then let's see how that goes. Now this is the division I've worked out because I can put in the gray columns here. As you can see, the gray columns will line up in these gaps. The two ends will have white. But I think it's a bit boring if I just put these windows like that. So I'm going to use jumper plates to create a half stud offset so that the windows will be actually pushed out by half a stud. I'll build them up and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, here's where I'm at right now. So I've added in the jumper plates. As you can see, it offsets the windows so they jut out by half a stud, creates just a bit more texture. The masonry bricks will go inside here. Now this will actually help me determine where to divide the room, because if I want to have the patient room and I'm going to have a retaining wall, let's just take for example, this is the wall. I do not want to place it where the window is. For example, I would not want to do that because you then see the side of the wall through the window, which is very ugly. So it has to be built here or here. So if I place it here, it will be covered by the masonry bricks, which is great. Now the thing is, I'm now left with not much space for the toilet. So I'm going to jump ahead and I'll show you the bed I've actually built. So I've pre-built some small builds for the interior of the hospital, and that's something I do as I build. I often build the interior items first. This allows me then to use them as yardsticks or measuring guides. So assuming I use this and I put this here like that, now I can see how close I can get to the side. So let's move this in by 1. Let's say if I move it in here, you can see that would work. It's a really tight fit. So the question is whether I need the toilet so big. Now bear in mind there will be a wall here because this is the toilet, and if I want to sink inside, I can't make it too small. So I believe my toilet will have to be at least 4 studs interior, just like that. So this will be a small squeeze. Not really realistic, because if I want the doctor to come in to see the patient, it should be like that. But this does make the toilet a bit of a squeeze, but maybe we can work with this. I'm using a small door for the toilet. I'm not using a standard door frame. So this might actually work out, because I do want a doctor or a nurse to be able to tend to a patient. So at least that's a bit, she's got really big hair. So if we ensure that any nurse that works this room doesn't have big hair, it should be pretty much easy. So I think that works. So this is how I've determined the position of my wall. So now that I've determined the position of my wall, I'm going to just mark that by putting this here and using a plate. So let's just mark it down first. And let's move it this side here. So with that decided, I can now build up the wall, and I'm going to build up some of these sides and back as well. And this is what we've got. So I've added in those masonry bricks in dark gray. And after I've offset the windows by pushing them forward using the 1x2 jumper plates, I had to put jumper plates on top as well to reset it back in line with the rest of the bricks. So I use 1x2 jumper plates, place them onto the top of the frame, and then use plates to hold the jumper plates together. And then I use 1x something white plates to hold everything together. So now all the individual elements are held together. The reason why I left a stud here exposed and a stud here exposed is so that I can use plates to join this corner with the sides of the build, so there's some structural integrity. As far as possible, if you can, you do want to interlock the perpendicular corners of builds, but just due to the way this setup is, because if I look back to the ground floor, notice I'm using these transparent panels and columns over here. So that means there's no way I can interlock bricks inside. Therefore, I have to do it this way. But ideally, if you're building with solid bricks, you'd want to interlock bricks at the right angles every alternate layer, so that you really have a good secure build. But in this case, this will work as well. Let's see if the facade matches up. So that's the main concern I have, whether the look fits. And I think just by this, it looks pretty decent. I think we do have that uniform look. Those dark gray masonry bricks do line up, and I suspect this might actually work. So what I'm going to do now is to build up the rest of the walls. That's the two sides as well as the back. The thing I have to figure out for the back is where windows would be, as well as for this side over here. I'm going to make it easy because I do know that this is the patient recovery room, so I definitely can just follow this window design over here, but not so much for the other side. But let's see what happens. So this is what I've done so far. I've chosen to put windows. I'm using the same design of these trans blue columns and panels for both sides. I think it will work. And as I explained in previous videos, I'm doing these trans blue and clear for you to just imagine that there are blinds or curtains if needed. They can be drawn. I won't be building those on the inside, but you just have to assume that is to be the case. I don't build this solid because I do want that medical look, and these trans blue windows do add to that medical look. And I also want light to get in so that's easier to see the interior details. It also looks nice when you look at it as a display piece. Even if you do not open it up with the windows, you can see there's obviously stuff inside, makes it interesting. Of course, there is a privacy issue, and we'll just assume that it is possible to use blackout curtains or blinds to cover the inside. In fact, you can see I do have some blinds over here. And this is actually a sticker from the Friends Hospital set. And I'm doing this for the patient. It could go either way. I think maybe for the sake of consistency for the back, I can have the solid one here, and this one can be by the window. So what I'm going to do now is to put in doors. For example, I've got a door here. This will be the door to the patient room. And then I can build up the walls. So I need another two doors. Let's see, we've got one more door here. I'm not worried about the actual doors itself. I can change that later. So one door would probably be here, and another door will be here, like that. So what I'm going to do is to build up these walls. Now, some are interior walls, so what I want to do is to interlock the build with the exterior wall so it's really solid. I can't interlock it with the front over here, but I can do so when I plate it above here. So I may change the plates here as they join with the interior walls. In fact, I definitely will do that. And then I'll build up white brick over here. So I'm not going to worry about the interior details. I'm sure that as I get into the decoration process, I may change some of the bricks to be modified bricks so I can put like decorated tiles or something. But I think before I do that, one thing I should do is figure out the toilet. So let's look for the toilet parts. I'm going to use a door like this. That's what I meant by a smaller door. So it's not your regular door frame with a door. So this is just a privacy door which I will build in here. So in this case, I will not be using these bricks. I will be using 5 bricks or 5 stud bricks, which means that I'm going to use a 1x3 brick and a 1x2 brick first. So it will look something like that, because I wanted 5 studs this way so that this can be here. Now what I think I need to do is to add the tiles or the plates underneath to raise it to the same height. Remember, I added in the light gray plates, and the reason for that was to just mark out the footprint of all the different rooms. I have to do the same for the toilet as well. So that goes like that, and that allows me to put back the brick so it's the same height. And here's the door. Now if you look on the other side, I'll need a corner brick like that. In fact, I may need a few. I'll just put a few just for you to see what I mean. See, that's how the toilet will look. And of course, this will be walled up and I have to fit the toilet inside. So because there's such a small space to work with, I'm going to put in the toilet first, and maybe the sink, because I have to build it into the wall, and then I'll get to the rest of the build. So this is what I've got for the toilet. So to save space, I'm going to assume that I built in the water tank of the toilet into this back wall, which I've yet to build. This saves 1 brick thickness of space, so I can actually put in a small sink. That's supposed to be the tap, a very funky modern looking tap, and that's a liquid soap dispenser. And over here, because this is a heated toilet, and you can flush it and do all the controls on the wall panel over here. What I do want to do is try to build in some kind of a holder for a toilet roll, and then I can build this up, and like I did for my public toilet mock, which you can check out in the video in the link above or in the description below. I'm going to build this over here like that. This is going to be the exhaust or ventilation system for this toilet. So that looks pretty good in my opinion. So I'm going to build this up, build that door up, and once I've got that little toilet more or less built, I can build up the rest of the walls. So this is what I've put together in terms of the completed toilet. Now there's no place to put a toilet roll holder, but you know, I just figured this is an electronic toilet with a bidet and stuff like that. You don't need toilet paper, so I think that's fine. And we've got the ventilator there. Now I'm not going to build up this top yet. I actually want the toilet to be shorter because it's so small. I do not want the walls too high because otherwise it's hard to see inside. Even now you can see it's a bit tough. So I'm going to stop here for now. I'm going to build up the rest of the walls and then see how I can kind of fit everything together so that everything is structurally really strong. Now the reason I haven't built this up is because of 2 things. One, I'm going to have a wall here, and I'm just wondering if I do build this wall here, because it's a dividing room, I'm going to see this edge of the wall here through the window, but you know what, I think this is going to be okay. So I think I can live with this. I will build up the wall, but the reason why I haven't built it up, I'm thinking of having some kind of a sign here, but I do not know if I've got any appropriate tiles over here for signage. I might not. Maybe I could just put one more of these logos over here, and that just makes it look a bit medical. So well, I think I'll do that. I will put in some kind of a modified brick so I can put in that decorated tile or tile with a sticker. And then I have to build this up. Now the reason I haven't built this up is because one of these rooms is going to be a lab and one is going to be an X-ray room. So it's going to have an X-ray device. And I need to mount the X-ray device onto this wall. So I'm going to stop there, or rather I think no, I can't stop there, because if I do not settle this now, I will not be able to plate all this and hold it together, because as I've mentioned before, I do want to lock these internal walls with the external walls. So I think what I need to do is to take out some of these interior builds, specifically the X-ray. Let me show you this X-ray room. It's going to have this bed, that's X-ray bed. There's also going to be an X-ray machine. I guess this is where you get the printout and the X-rays. And we also need the X-ray camera itself. And that is built like this. I'm using this clip arm element, there's a bar in, and that's the lens. And basically this is going to be mounted on a bar which is on this wall, so that technically you can slide the camera left and right above the bed that the patient will be on. So that's realistic to a real X-ray machine, and I have to fit everything inside here. So the way I intend to do the bar is to take modified plates with clips and a bar element and build it here. So I think what I need to do is to build this, put this in first at least, just to see how it looks. So let's take this out. So I'm going to figure out the space first. So this is what I've done. I've managed to put in the X-ray table, that's the camera, mounted on that bar which can slide. There we have the X-ray device, the printout computer. Now notice I actually did this wrongly. This is supposed to be jutting out. So for some reason, I'm not sure why, but I built it inset in. It should be inset out. Now, because this causes a lot of problems, as you can see, this juts in by almost one stud. So I need to pull this out and move the plates out so that the window sticks out and I won't have this problem. And then I can decide the position of the door. So I know what I did wrongly. I just put it the wrong way. So I did build it correctly, but I put it in the reverse way. So dumbo me. Okay, so that makes it much easier. Let me put this back together and see how it looks then. So I've built everything up, as you can see. What I still need to do is add plates, and then I have to add tiles all around, and I think we're almost done. So let's finish that up and we'll finish the structure of the second floor. And here we have plated and tiled, ready to take the roof. Let's just have a quick overview. Obviously I haven't detailed the inside. I'm going to leave that for the next video where we figure out all the interior details and also tile the floor. But I think we've got this second floor more or less done, and we're going to place it onto the first floor, place the roof on, and let's just see how everything goes together for now. And here we have the building stacked together with the second floor on this modular building. It's now a 2-story medical center built on a 16 by 32 stud base plate. Honestly, this took longer than I expected. You'd think it should be pretty straightforward, right? Especially since we've got the base, just build a similar second floor and that should be really fast and easy. But it was tricky working out the space and of course making it logical such that the edges go behind these solid walls, because I did want lots of windows so that it looks nice and bright. But I think we've got it pretty much done. And I'm going to end this video here because I'm going to save the interior details of the builds, the furniture and the tiling for part 4 of this building a mock from start to finish. Do let me know if you like this particular build and if you think it goes well together. And if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell. Thanks for watching. Check out these 2 videos before you go.